Hi, everybody. This is Nate, and welcome to Meet the Psychic Press. This is a show where you, the viewers, the audience, get to come into the recording studio and ask me questions. And so I wanted to welcome Dan, Laurie, and Melissa to the show. And I wanted to thank them for volunteering and taking some of your time and some of your time to come here and ask questions, but also to think about your questions. And so I appreciate you very, very much. Maybe I will give you a little bit of time so you can introduce yourself. We'll start the questions with Dan, but first, Dan, do you want to give us a few words about who you are?
Sure. My name is Dan. I live in New Jersey. I am a painter, artist, and that's my name, Dan, artist, painter. And I am a teacher of fine art in a high school. I've lived in New Jersey for well since 1992. I'm originally from New York. That's where I studied, and yeah, I'm a dad. I'm a father and happily married for 40 years.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
And our second guest will be Melissa.
Hi, I'm in Sonoma County, California, and my background is in communication and behavior analysis. But my bread and butter is done through real estate investing. And I've also been giving intuitive and channeled readings for the last 13 years.
Okay. If you want to share your information, I'm happy to put it in the description of the video if people want to
Okay, that'd
connect
be
with you.
great.
Yes,
Thank
of
you.
course. Of course. And our final journalist, since this is Meet the Press, will be Laurie. Welcome, Laurie.
Thank you, Nate. My name is Laurie Nagoon. I live in northern New Mexico. I'm a nature-based workshop facilitator. I also teach people how to read the Akashic Records, and I also train Reiki folks. So thank you. Delighted to be here.
And if you have also informations you want to share about yourself, I'll be happy to put it in my channel so
I
people
will.
know.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. So let's get to business. And then maybe we'll start with you with some questions that we can start this show with. I have to say that I am not aware of your questions. I will discover them live during your questions. So then I think we can get started with your own section.
Great. I have 6 questions. I'll take them one at a time. And this is question number one. Trump commented on how he's concerned about getting into heaven. And he said, they say I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. As we know, he's been absent for several days, just recently appeared. He reemerged today to go golfing, and he did not look good. The pics they're sharing before this event did not look good. Um, he has bruised hands. He has edema. His eyes are barely open, sometimes quite shut. And when they are open, they are slits. Many people are speculating on his health as being in serious decline. Can we look at this?
Yeah. So I will kind of share with you some elements that I've read on in the past, but then kind of putting them all together with adding some of the recent information that has happened lately. First, I do feel that when the discussion took place about him going to heaven, I believe also that he asked his people to donate money so he could go to heaven. Yes, I know this is hard to imagine. I really believe that he had some sort of discussion with a doctor that told him that his situation, and I'll come back to that, has gotten worse, that the situation cannot be fully healed, but managed. And so it made him realize that he was closer to cross to the other side than anything else. And so it has really made him talk about heaven and the bottom of the totem pole and whatnot. Well, we know, so this is just information that we know. We saw his hands, definitely saw that he got some injections. I've also shared with you, and you mentioned that on a previous reading, Dan, that I've seen bleeding personally. I've seen bleeding near the head and the ear area, which is very strange because that reminded me of the assassination attempt. But also lately, some bleeding in the stomach area. And I feel like there's medicine that is taking that have side effects of creating ulcers potentially. Um, and that I think it's really impacting. I feel like there's dementia as well. Um, the more that I've felt about recent energy on him, the word cancer um, came to me as a possibility. Um, as to the recent time that he hasn't been seen since Wednesday, I kept getting that he was in a hospital. Um, Walter Reed probably. The I always see him, and if you watch my shows regularly, you know what I'm gonna say. I always see him in a wheelchair. And those images have become more vivid lately, where I see his head tilted to the left. Like
Hmm.
something's just not quite right. Almost giving a sense of a stroke potentially. So this is where I am with all this. Um, I think it's just going to accelerate. There is no way that um, there's not going to be big incident with his health before the end of the year. I've also seen a parallel with Vance being president for a short period of time. An example would be a surgery, the same way that Kamala Harris was president of the United States during Biden's, I believe it was a colonoscopy. So this is what I can share with you that I see.
Okay. Question number two. As Trump deteriorates in health, he seems to be going more extreme, more authoritarian. Whether it's him or the people around him, like Vaught and Miller, we don't know. For example, he's occupying cities with the military. Soon he will go into Chicago. It seems that as he moves more extreme, the pushback is becoming more intense. Can you look at that? Will Trump's inner circle? I'm sorry, that's it. That's question number two.
So will he go more extreme?
Yeah, and the pushback seems more intense.
Yes, I can feel like there's more pushback. We already see, when Gavin Newsom said fight fire with fire, that's an example of the political pushback. I do feel like there will be more resistance movement. I am very scared of him sending National Guards to cities. I have this feel like there might be violence and a potential like snowball effect on violence to your point. That really concerns me. I am putting some cards here that will share with you. Um there's an acceleration, Eight of Wands. I get the devil here. This devil tells me that he's playing with fire. Not a surprise, but he's playing with fire. And so yes, to your 2 points.
Hmm. Question number three. Will Trump's inner circle be panicked and divided as he continues to decline?
Well, that's a great question. So I'm gonna ask a question. What will be the energies of the inner circle? Now, when you say inner circle, the first thing that comes to mind, I felt like there's family and then there's politics. And I'm getting almost like a fight between the family and the politics. The family I've always seen, so this is like old readings. I'm talking like since old January, but everything January feels old given what's going on. In January, I saw a big meeting taking place where the family, the Trump family, realized that his health, so going back to the first question, had deteriorated already in January, and there were some questions regarding his money and the will. And I feel like this is a topic of interest that's hot right now. So let's look at kind of part two of your questions with the inner circle on the political side of the administration. What's gonna happen as they see Trump's health deteriorating? It's the Three of Wands. They're already planning for what's gonna happen. I think there's an ongoing plan. The Ten of Swords, it's when it's basically gone or incapacitated. Healing, I feel like there's even a plan. Plan A, let's call 1A, is when he's dealing with a health issue. That could be the wheelchair, that could be in convalescence, and then death. So plan 1A and 1B. And then look at this, the Four of Wands. It's in some cards it's the White House, but it's the new regime. It's a sense of, with the Six of Wands, that sense of turning the page. So I'm seeing more, to answer your question, tensions between the family and the politicians, the inner circle on the political side. But on the political side, it almost feels like they're getting ready for plan A1, plan AB, plan AC. I get the sense, the big card here was the Three of Wands. The That's the planning stage, and um, it's the number three. Could be a 3 months plan. And again, we're getting into between now and end of year. So I get the sense like there's, just looking at the cards, there's an acceleration here.
Hmm.
And that was your third question.
Yes.
So
Number
the
four.
number three came,
Oh, yeah.
interestingly, came again. Yeah.
Hmm. Number four. What will justice look like when the political opposition, meaning the Democrats, take power in 2026 and hopefully 2028? Obviously, justice will be a main topic for all the crimes that have been committed.
So when you mention justice, are you talking about justice as a theme or the courts or both?
Well, my thought was so many people will be hurt on so many different strata
Yes.
that whoever is the leader that the people will support, they will want some recompense.
Yes. So it's not
And
just the courts.
not just the courts.
Okay.
It will be what will this look like? Or will we have it?
Which is interesting because Queen of Swords, that's a card of justice.
Hmm.
So there's a court element, but there's also the fairness, doing what's right. The compassion, Ace of Cups, is coming through. So I feel like there will be a recognition to look at the situation, bring some compassion, and almost start fresh. It's almost like once there will be a moment where the the red turns blue. It could even happen at the midterms, and they will be kind of a look at the whole situation and trying to rebalance things for fairness, for justice, for social justice, any type of justice.
Hmm.
Yes. But I like the Ace of Cups because this is a card of compassion.
Hmm. Let's move on to question number five. What does post-Trump America look like?
This is a difficult question because we could be in post-Trump America in 3 months.
Mm,
and still be struggling. So I feel like the way that I will answer this question is before midterms or after the midterms, regardless of Trump. Because to me, I always felt like it's at the midterms that there's like we can breathe again.
mm,
So if Trump is not able to perform his duties before the midterms, we'll have more of the same Project 2025, Vance, Musk, all of this. If we're looking at past the midterms, then we're looking at reversing
mm,
what has happened. So it's not just Trump.
mm. Okay. Final question. Uh, can the damage that is being done to the CDC by RFK be stopped and repaired?
Okay. The first card is the magician. The magician is usually a positive card, but in this case, it's almost like it's RFK Jr. It's the magician plays, it's illusions, it's someone who's not really doesn't have the experience or is experimenting. And so these feel like it's amateurish, it's experimentation, decisions are made that are not based on science. The moon here tells us that it's the shadow, it's the night. It's definitely gonna get worse before it gets better. And that concerns me because I also see as we get to the winter in the US issues. I mean, COVID is coming strong, measles, the plague. There's a lot of diseases that are resurfacing, issues with vaccinations, etc. The Eight of Cups also feel like there's real damage to the collective health. And I get the Chariot, which tells me that at the end of all this, even though damage will happen, there will be solutions, there will be forward movement, but I think there's going to be some real issue. And I said in the past, like, because of all of these, some people will die. Some people will die. It's very real.
Mm,
Thank you for your questions, Dan. Appreciate you very much taking time on your Saturday to be here.
you're welcome.
And now we're moving to Melissa.
Hello, Dan. Those were pretty great questions. We learned a
Mm,
lot from those. Those
mm,
were good. Um, the going back into the CDC, one of my questions were mental health here in the U.S. seems to be getting progressively more dangerous with the younger generations, more severe. Yet the supports are have never really been very good, and what we've had is diminishing, especially with the Medicaid changes. A lot of people with mental health issues are on Medicaid and have medications they depend on for their mental health. So I wanted to see what you saw about the future of mental health going forward, and whether that is going to, whether we're going to come up with any new strategies to handle that.
That's a great question. I it's very concerning because I think the key of your questions is we were starting from a low point, and then now it's getting worse, but from a low point. So the
Right.
first kind I pulled was the Nine of Wands. This is a card of struggle, health, convalescence. I feel like it's getting worse. The Five of Wands is the struggling in terms of physical health, mental health. There's a direct relationship with a collective well-being, prosperity, and wealth, and mental health. The biggest concern, there's concerns a lot, but this card here, the Six of Cups, talks about children, teenagers, young adults, and I'm really concerned. I feel like
Me
they
too.
will be hit the most. Yeah. So it's not a very positive reading from
Okay.
that standpoint. Yeah.
Okay. And so I know going into the future is hard to really because things change so much, but do you see things getting to a point where there are systems put into place?
I just pulled a card. It's the Ace of Pentacles, and it's finances and um resources. At the end of the day, it's a problem of resources.
Mm,
I feel like there will be at some point put more resources. We need more people. We need to invest money into our mental health. We never learned the lessons from the pandemic. We never People are still struggling. I read every day for people, and I still see people every day that are struggling post pandemic. So resources will be needed and put at some point, but we know it's not soon.
mm.
Yes.
Okay. Bad news. I'm sorry to bring the whole thing
Yeah,
down. I wanted to talk a little bit about AI and ask
yes.
about recently Sam Altman has been talking about AI bubble. Others have been talking about an AI crash, and Meta has pulled out a lot of their investing in hiring for AI. So um, I'm wondering what, I mean, for up until this point, we've all been worried about AI taking over, taking the jobs. Now that they all seem to be pulling back to avoid this or to mediate this crash of over investing, um, what do you see as the future of AI as far as integrating into the job market? Will it affect jobs as much as we thought it might?
Yep. So specifically on I feel like, Ten of Pentacles, still plenty of money, still plenty of investment to be made. It's not a bubble because technically for a bubble, it would have to go to the growth stage and burst at that point. We're nowhere near growth to maturity. We're still in the baby steps. So I wouldn't call that a bubble burst. I feel like what happened, they're showing me that everyone kind of saw the power and the importance of AI. So too many people jump on the bandwagon trying to replicate some of the same things. So the phase we're in is just a reset a little bit, but the overall growth is there. Yes, it will impact a ton of jobs, because AI is able to automate a lot of things. As if you have tried with it, tested it, you know what it's capable of. So it's a real threat to the way we work, to the labor market. I want to be positive, it's also an opportunity, but it requires a complete change of society. I see this change even bigger than the internet. I mean, the internet was big. We couldn't do these today without the internet. But AI, I think it's just even bigger. It's like the internet on steroids. Okay. And so we're going to have to try to learn it, try to work with it. Um, I keep getting also that there will be a sense that it would add some opportunities as well. Like in medicine, I think it's fantastic. Like I have um if I mean, if you can send a photo of, if you have a rash or something on your skin, and they can analyze it and tell you, give you some advice. I mean, it just has a lot of power. So I feel like I don't want to be doom and gloom because it's such a big shift. But yes, it is a big shift. It has a lot of opportunities to improve our lives, but it's not a bubble burst. It's a bubble that's just gonna go on and on and on. Um, I feel like there's kind of an interesting aspect here in the world where oh, we have parts of the world where the populations are getting much, much older, where there's not enough people, younger generations to pay for
Mm-hmm.
the elderly, like in places, for example, like Japan. But in Europe too, and to some degree in the US. That actually brings the topic of immigration because you need people to pay for pensions. But and you have other parts of the world that are growing, India, China, where you have a lot of people that supports the older generation. I think I see AI is gonna play into that by helping countries that don't necessarily have the labor of the help to automate some of these things. Um, but there's a lot to say. I'm just gonna pull a couple cards to say that, what do the spirits see for AI in the future? It's kind of reflect what I was saying. The Empress, it represents an aspect of prosperity and help, but the Seven of Swords is the sneaky aspect. So we need to use it to the best of abilities, but putting frameworks around it because it can, and it has been seen, it can work against us. And that's very scary.
Yes, it is. Okay. Eh, I'm trying to see what I had a question about. I'm trying to find. Do I have any positive questions? So, how about the value of the U.S. dollar? This is right now the value of the U.S. dollar is suffering under Trump,
Yeah.
and it's a concern, of course. Once he is out of office and Democrats take over, how long do you see the recovery of the dollar taking, and will it recover?
Yeah, so it has already lost a lot of value. If you look, for example, US to the euro since the beginning of the year, we're about 15-ish% drop. Then you have the impact of the tariff, then you have the impact of interest rates that might drop. So looking at the dollars and the risk of the dollar for the economy, the dollar value. Seven of Cups, this is a card of illusions, disillusions. It's scary because it can lead to a potential crash. And you're not bringing that on. I said that on my own in previous videos. So, um, again, the Nine of Wands, that card of healing and struggling. Um, the King of Cups, that could be Trump, that could be leadership. Five of Cups, a sense of loss. So there's gonna be issues with this issue of the value of the dollar, and that's gonna bring problems with inflation and the ability that the price gonna keep rising.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that being resolved anytime soon.
Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm just bringing everybody down.
It's okay. It's better to be aware of what's happening.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, true, true. Um, okay, how about? I mean, there's been always efforts at forming some sort of third party
Okay.
politically, besides the Democrats and the Republicans. Do you see within the next 10 years any third party gaining enough significance to compete?
Within 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The King of Cups, so there's maybe a man, someone's kind of starting this. Four of Cups, it's a slow card, it's a card of reflection. Nothing anytime soon. Six of Wands, I see success. Page of Wands, some activity there. I feel like when you look at the 10 years, I could see that towards the end of the 10-year period.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess I'll ask my last question. Um, to the mental health, the future of Israel right now with the U.S. and the relationship. It's been such a commingled relationship for so long, and that relationship is getting tattered at the moment. I'm wondering what the future of the U.S. Israel relationship will look like in, say, 5 years, 10
5 years,
years.
5 to 10 years. Okay. It's interesting because it shows, um, I would say positively better relationships. The judgment talks about more communications within that 5 to 10 years time frame. The Hierophant is, I feel like a card of peace as well, which kind of is also positive. That almost gives me a sense that we might be more into a situation of peace closer to the 5, 10 years with the Middle East. Um, the Ace of Pentacles to me sounds like a new situation in terms of collaboration, economic collaboration, resources. Um, Page of Wands, the page brings some good news. It feels like the energy of those cards show for the 5, 10 years something peaceful, something collaborative, something that seems to be good news as far as the world order and peace and the Middle East. So I feel like this is a positive question, a
Mm-hmm.
positive answer, this one, where it's almost like the energy feels like the ugly, and the challenge seems to be behind when we look at that 5, 10 years time frame. Maybe new leaders in the US, new leaders for sure as well in Israel. So we're talking, and it's interesting, you see peace and you see two leaders, and then also kind of a
Oh, yeah.
renewal here. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a complete renewal of collaboration and energy.
Mm, good. Oh, I'm glad I ended on a high note.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. Well, all questions are good questions. I think the worst that we could do is ignore what's
Yeah.
happening and just be very realistic and work with best intentions, but be aware. Forewarned is forearmed.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for your great questions, Melissa. That was great. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And welcome, Laurie.
Hi, thank you, Melissa. That was great. So, Nathe, my first question is Deb Haaland was our Secretary of the Interior for the Biden administration, and she will now be running for governor in New Mexico. And I'm wondering how she'll do. And again, her name is Deb Haaland.
And she's a Democrat.
She's a Democrat. She's Native. She's from New
Oh,
Mexico.
yes.
And she was the first Native person that was ever the Secretary of the Interior for the United States.
And she has announced that she will be running
Yes, she has.
governor.
Definitely.
Okay. So let me have a look here. I need to do a bit of cleanup. Yeah. Deb, New Mexico. First off, the energy I get from the cards is like she brings a lot of positive energies into the race. Like I see a lot of integrity, a lot of truth, a lot of connection with nature.
Mhm.
How will she do? How will she do? It's looking quite good. The Six of Wands, it talks about her connection with the people.
Mhm.
And so her ability to um, bring people with her, having also a social media campaign, the power of the people, building momentum with the people. So that's very positive. The judgment, it talks about communication. I think she is very good. I don't know her, but I think
Mhm.
her strength will be her speech, her communication, her ability to deliver the message. The Four of Wands, that's a very good card to me. That would indicate a potential win. So I think she's in a great position.
Okay, great. Thank you. So changing the subject a little bit, Nathe, when you're doing a reading or before you're doing a reading, can you give us one or two examples of how you might center yourself or ground yourself?
Yeah, it's very, there's no like big ritual. It's very, but maybe also because I do this many, many times during a day. But I definitely would need to clear my head if I need to get like a glass of water, a cup of tea, clear my head is the first thing. I would always try to imagine it like a white light of protection around me or around all of us. It takes 2 seconds, and why not? And then to prepare for a reading, I would kind of look at the name of the person and just kind of get a feel for the energies.
Mm.
Just what, not seeing the person, not being in the Zoom with the person, what do I feel? What, anything comes up that what is the first image that I feel or see? And I say image that I feel because I'm not clairvoyant. We all have abilities, but I feel more than I see. So I I would feel the energy of the person, even though I could maybe have a vision of it. Um, so yeah, kind of getting ready and centered with her or his energy or their energy, because the reading would really require kind of to blend our energy so we're kind of like feeling in that same bubble. So I'm
Mhm.
most ready to answer their questions. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Will Bill Barr ever be held accountable for his illegal activities and lies?
Okay. Um, my first card is the Knight of Wands. There seems to be things that are going to be coming at him. He's going to have to defend himself. The Ten of Wands, a burden. There's like, yes, there's like a series of things. My last two cards are very strange. Death and the Ten of Swords.
Ooh,
So that tells me that either is no longer there or the page gets turned in a very strange way. When you asked me the question, I heard a no. So I feel like it doesn't show that he's put, like for example, I don't see that he would be in jail. I don't see those things. I don't see money, a fine. I don't see anything. I see him gone.
okay.
So he could be gone politically, gone physically, gone.
Mhm.
But in other words, like, yeah, I see those problems accumulating, but yet he escapes, but that escape doesn't look great.
Okay. So moving on to weather, do you see any concerns for the state of New Mexico in the next 6 months?
The first thing that came to mind is like lots of floods, water, water, water. And yeah, Ten of Wands again came back. It's like a lots of water. Do you usually have lots of water during this time of the year in the next 6 months?
No.
So this is very strange. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
It feels unexpected. Um, I imagine it's dry, but I see water.
Mhm.
It could be like localized. It almost feels like it's not the whole state. It's like
Sure.
localized water pouring into an area that's
Mhm.
very dry, and then it just creates like this water to build up.
Mhm. Okay. Um, will Jared Kushner ever be held accountable for his illegal activities?
Hmm. I wish I could say yes, but I'm not feeling great about it, and I will show you why. The Two of Cups. Someone's helping him, someone's protecting him, right? He is getting protection. The Seven of Pentacles, there's money here. There's like, by doing the things that he did for entertainment purposes only, he's also got himself a certain level of protection. The Two of Swords, like the Crossroad and the Hangman, things are just status quo. There's nothing here that says like he's in huge trouble. But I think it comes from his connection, his deals, and it's like, I'll help you, you help me kind of a thing.
Okay. My last question actually is about President Zelensky and his family. Will they be safe and get through this?
Will Zelensky, how would you phrase, will Zelensky be
And
safe
his family be safe throughout the war and
throughout
after?
the war and after?
Yeah, it's a big question.
I think we need to put some sort of time frame, like
Okay.
in the next,
6 months?
yeah, or even maybe couple years from now, like within the next,
Sure.
this year and next, I think,
Great.
because I wouldn't be able to see that far, like 20 years from now, or it so much things can change. Zelensky, is he at risk? Is family at risk? I think today they said someone, like a speaker for Ukraine, was shot.
Oh, okay.
Previous, not in function, but so there's clearly some risks. Okay, Zelensky, his family, is he physically and is the family physically at risk? Okay, first card is the devil.
Oof.
So there's risks that I think you don't need me to tell you that there are risks. Of
Mhm.
course they are. And it's very present. He needs to be very, very careful of where he goes, what he does. I mean, the usual. But I got the hangman, I got the fool. Those are cards of status quo or new beginnings, or they don't indicate that the family or himself would be specifically in trouble. Um, I feel Five of Pentacles that they're struggling. This is very difficult, very heavy, but yet I'm not seeing like a particular event. I just feel like the risk is super high, though.
Sure.
Super,
Okay.
super high. Um, thank you, Laurie. It was your last question.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this wrap up our show. I really wanted to thank all of you, Dan, Melissa, Laurie, for your wonderful questions. If you are watching at home and you want to be part of the panel, please email me. It's fun. And I really appreciate the time that you took, your fantastic questions. And thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you.